I've worked my whole life for them. Why are they speaking to me like this now? If these thoughts resonate with you, you are not alone. Hundreds of thousands of older women feel pain and confusion. Their children seem to have grown up and received the best, but suddenly they have become harsh, cold, and sometimes just indifferent. If you feel that you've lost their respect, I recommend watching this video, because there is a way out. It is possible to regain respect, and it's not about shouting, blaming, or demanding a conversation. It's about inner strength, calmness, and simple yet powerful steps that help restore boundaries and rebuild trust. If you don't re-establish boundaries, even the most loving children may stop seeing you as a person. Not because they don't love you, but because they become accustomed to kindness, patience, and silence in response. But everything can change without pressure or complaints, and with quiet confidence. Your children will want to call you, see you more often, and take an interest in your life. Your task is simply to follow these steps. Step number 4 will be particularly valuable. Listen until the end and rate how helpful this was for you on a scale from 1 to 10. The first step is to stop making excuses and seeking attention. We often say things like, "You've completely forgotten about me." "Am I bothering you?" Or, "You must be really busy," hoping that what we really mean will be heard. "I miss you." But too often, the response is irritated silence or a curt, "Mom, can we talk later?" It hurts. But what's even more painful is that we make ourselves feel small. When we speak from a place of expectation, neediness, and dependence, we sound like children. And kids pick up on this. They respond just like we once did to our parents, with fatigue and a desire to wrap things up quickly. But this is where the key shift happens. Respect doesn't come from pity. It's born from strength, from a calm tone, from confidence, from a simple yet firm stance. I am not a burden. I am a person worth having an equal conversation with. What to do? Change your tone without forced seriousness, but with respect for yourself. I need to feel a connection. When would be a good time for you to talk? Then pause. Don't fill the silence with apologies or justify your desire to be close. Here's what will happen. Even if you don't get the response you expect right away, an internal process will begin in the child. They will sense that you've changed. Now, in front of them stands not an offended mom, but a person with dignity. That's something they will want to connect with. They'll want to communicate differently. This isn't magic. It's realignment. You're rising from a place of inner submission and gradually restoring balance in your relationship. But it's not just about the words. It's about how you live your life. Many older women spend years putting their children first. Everything revolves around them. Days are scheduled around their needs. Thoughts are consumed by them. And before you know it, life turns into a silent, constant service. Yet, the more you give without reserve, the less it is appreciated. It's a paradox, but it's true. When you sacrifice your own needs for their well-being, when you give up rest, interests, and desires for their comfort, you don't receive gratitude. You lose yourself. And children get used to it. They stop even noticing. It's not their fault. It's a signal that it's time to return to yourself. Because if you're not living your life, it will simply be taken from you, not out of malice, but out of inertia. What to do? Start small. Say a simple no when you're tired. Take that walk you've been putting off. Pick up the book you never had time for. Join that club that you think it's too late for. But in reality, it's just the right time. Be direct. I can't help today. I have plans with friends. Let's think of another way to solve this. And don't make excuses. You don't have to earn the right to your free time. What will change? At first, there may be surprise. Then, respect. When children see that you have your own life, your own boundaries, your own desires, they intuitively sense they are in the presence of a person, not a servant. And that makes a big difference. Your life is not a leftover. It is the center. Until you reclaim that right for yourself, no one else will do it for you. You can speak correctly, but still go unheard. Because it's not just about the words. It's about the tone. Many moms express pain, anxiety, and accumulated resentment in their voices. And it comes across as criticism, even if you're not raising your voice. Even if you're simply asking, "Why don't you call?" "I'm doing this for you." "You forgot again." All of this sounds like an accusation, and kids tend to shut down. Why is that? Because there's passive aggression in such words, even if that's not your intention, even if you speak softly. It's the voice of fatigue, pain, and disappointment, and it doesn't invite closeness. It triggers a defensive response. But it can be different, without aggression, without blame, with firmness, but through respect for yourself and for them. What to do? Replace familiar phrases with honest yet calm expressions. "You never call me back." "When you don't return my calls, I start to worry. It's important for me to know that you're okay." "You're always busy. You don't have time for me." "I understand that you have a lot going on, but our conversations are important to me. Can we make some time for that?" This changes everything. You're not talking about how bad he is. You're expressing what you need. And it doesn't come across as pressure. It sounds like intimacy. And intimacy is something that not only you lack, but your children do too. They just don't know how to articulate it. What happens next? At first, there might be a pause, but then a response will come. Because there is much more strength in softness and calm than in accusations. You're not demanding. You're offering a choice. And when you give someone a choice, they naturally lean in, without coercion, without obligation, from a genuine desire to be close. Sometimes what matters most isn't what you say, but when you choose to stop talking. If someone raises their voice, interrupts, or is rude during a conversation, and you continue to engage, it becomes the norm for them because you've allowed it. Boundaries aren't about being cold, they're about self-respect. Many women tolerate outbursts of irritation, sharpness, or disdain just to avoid escalation, not hurt feelings, or maintain connection. But the truth is, respect isn't maintained through concessions. It is born from saying, "Stop." What should you do? Don't respond to rudeness with rudeness. Instead, gently but firmly set your boundaries. "I won't continue this conversation in this tone. Let's talk later when we can be calm." Then, be silent. Yes, it may feel awkward at first. It might even be hard. But if you don't say this now, tomorrow you'll hear irritation again. And the day after that. Boundaries aren't about being offended. They're about protecting yourself from offense. You're not pushing people away. You're safeguarding your well-being. Once the other person realizes that their rudeness costs them your connection, they will start to value your communication. Maybe not right away, but it will begin. What will change? At first, there will be a pause. Then, respect. It may not come in words, but rather in the tone of voice, in how people listen to you, in how they return your calls, in the way they choose their words. You are no longer background noise. You are a boundary. You are someone who cannot be ignored. And this is the beginning of genuine relationships, Not dependent, not resentful, but mature ones. But even if everything seems fine on the outside, there may be another voice inside. I'm not needed by anyone. I tried, but now I just feel like a burden. Sure, they have their own lives, and I'm just on the sidelines. This voice is not you. It's an old role you've come to believe in. The role of the victim. The one who has been forgotten. The one who isn't appreciated. And the longer you stay in that role, the more your children sense it. They don't see a strong, capable woman in front of them. They see a shadow, and it's hard to show respect to a shadow. What should you do? Change your internal narrative. Tell yourself, I am not just a mother. I am a woman, a person, an individual with a wealth of experience and deserving of respect. Display a photo of yourself where you look happy, where your eyes shine. Remind yourself every day, I exist. I am alive. I am valuable. This will not only transform how you feel, it will also change the atmosphere around you. Because when you stop seeing yourself as a victim, your strength returns. And your children can sense this even without words. You have done everything you could, and even more. You have given love, care, and years of your life. Now you have every right to be not just accommodating, but respected. But respect doesn't come automatically. It returns when you start to recognize your own strength, when you stop making excuses, when you set boundaries, when you speak firmly yet warmly, when you reclaim your right to live your life. This doesn't mean becoming tough. It means becoming whole without yelling, complaining, or expectations, but with dignity. What to do next? Ask yourself, where am I losing myself today for someone else's comfort? Start with one no that you've been wanting to say for a long time. Find 15 minutes just for yourself, not for productivity, but for pleasure. And keep repeating, I am a woman with a story. I deserve respect. And here's what will happen. The world won't change in an instant, but your voice, your perspective, and your boundaries will shift, and the kids will feel it. Because they still love you. They just need to learn to see the woman you've always been again. And you will help them with this, not through demands, but with the quiet strength of maturity and authenticity.